One of the reasons I told you in the beginning to set these to the outside, if this was set in closer and you stepped on here, the whole thing could teeter over. All four of these cables that are 2 cables here, 2 cables over there, we refer to them as leveling cables. 2 level from front to back, 2 level from side to side. The last cable we have left is the lift cable, we call it. It goes into the winch. Okie dokie. We're going to want to tighten it up similar to what we did below there. I use a 15/16 wrench or socket and the 9/16 wrench down on the bottom. And when you tighten them up, you're going to want to get the cable so it's something like that, you know, like not real tight, but it's not sagging either. You don't want it like a guitar string. Bad right there. Same thing on this one. And you want to do the same thing on the other side. Get those with the same tightness. This could be a little tighter maybe. This is the winch cable. Basically all you're doing here is just, you don't have to worry about any tightness here. You just want to get the nylon portion of the lock nut engaged on the thread so it won't come loose. Thread coming up. So what we'll do is finish tightening those other cables. Next what we'll do is work on getting the winch in place. We're going to put the winch on the lift, and what I have here, it's we call it our 16:1 gear ratio. You have to take the cover off. There's a couple of screws here and here you can loosen up to get it off. Inside there'll be a plastic bag with this wedge attached to it. It'll be probably wrapped around, there's a hole in there, but this will be in there, and there should be a spare one also in the bolt bag. So you should have 2 of these in case you lose one. But we'll get to this in a little bit. This is going to help anchor the cable inside the winch. The winch has a slotted back to the top hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bolt in the column first, which I have in there now. It's a 3/8 by 4 all thread bolt. And I've got one in there, I've got a nut on the back side and a washer on the other, and I've got it kind of sticking through a little bit so I can get the keyhole slot on there. This is what the bolt looks like. It's all thread. This is going to go in the lower hole, but I'm not going to mess with it right now. Probably the hardest part of the whole lift. Getting this on. You may want to come over here so you can kind of see the keyhole slot. There you go. So the keyhole slot is going to go over the bolt head. Go, and it just drops down. It's all set. And now it's a matter of putting the bolt through the bottom and tighten it up on the back side. The drum's kind of in the way. It's a little bit of a hard thing to do, but you know, once you get it through there, it's got a self-locking head on it, so you tighten it from one side. But show you how I do it. So I've kind of got to go up through the cable guard, and I leave the top bolt loose at this point. Giving small hands helps. There, it's with the nut and washer on there, and we're good to go. Next, we'll go ahead and tighten her down. Next, what we're going to do is put the wheel on it, and put the cable in the on the winch. We're going to put the cable on the winch. We're going to put the wheel on the winch. First of all, we'll start with the cable. We've got the winch up there. We have it secured with bolts. We're going to tighten it up, and when you get the winch, you're going to have a little protective sleeve over that, and what you'll do, you'll take the nut or the washer and the bolt off, and then you can take that sleeve off, and there's going to be some grease on there, and the grease helps keep the wheel freely moving back and forth and cuts down corrosion. So we'll put this back on here in a minute. But first of all, we're going to put the cable in place. And the cable just comes straight up from the carriage. It goes through the rollers on the bottom of the winch. Just like that. And it wraps around the drum. And you may want to turn the wheel a little bit, or the winch, so you can get at this a little bit better. But there's a wedge there that the cable is going to be going into. There's a little hole on the inside of this hub. So what you're going to want to do is I'm going to turn it a little bit more so I can get at that hole. There we go. I just created kind of a big loop to kind of help myself out a little bit, and I'm giving myself lots of slack here. and you create another loop. You push it back in there, and there's a stop on that clip up there. So what I'm making is kind of a big loop, and I'll cinch it down, pull it on the cable, get this engaged here so it may stay put a little better. The brake mechanism there. So anyways, you get a loop going. Whoops, popped out now. Try again here. This cable was put in once and it's got a little kink in it, which probably is making it a little tougher. There, I've got kind of a big loop made there, and I'm gonna, there's a steel wedge that was attached to the winch on the inside. If you have that on, you can take it off. There's one in the bolt bag. But when you have that loop to a point where you can just barely get that in there, that's about where I put this wedge in there, and that helps keep the cable in place. I'm going to kind of tuck her in there, pull the cable a little bit more, and that helps cinch it down. What I'll normally do is, you probably want to use a pair of leather gloves here. Could be some little wires even jammed out. But I'll yank it there pretty good. And what I'll do to kind of help force the cable down, I'll get a pair of ice grips, clamp onto the cable. This is just something I do. You may figure out a better way to do her. But I'll just kind of wrap it a little bit. See, it's cinching down a little bit up there. You can see it pulling in. You want it nice and tight so it doesn't come out. It looks like it's pretty good right now. I'm going to take a screwdriver, just as a double precaution, and just kind of hammer that in a little bit better. Just that I know it's in there nice and solid. There, it looks pretty good to me. There, that's all there is to it. We'll put the wheel on it, which I will grab. The wheels will come with a, there'll be the aluminum foil will be right over the hole, so you need to take like a screwdriver or a knife and cut out that little circle so you can get the wheel threaded on. This one's already been on once. You just put it up there on the winch, thread it on. Clockwise.